This week, I caught myself doing something I have done my entire life, trying to control everything, trying to figure it all out, make it all work, keep everything moving. And for the first time, I stopped, not because everything suddenly worked out, but because I realized I cannot carry all of this on my own. The mental load is too great. Welcome back to Struggle and Strength, Moms Balancing It All with Nikki. This episode is going to feel a little different because I'm not going to come to you with a strategy. I'm coming to you from a moment when I realized maybe the answer is not doing more. Maybe the answer is letting go. And hopefully I sound okay. I'm at my daughter's dive meet, and I thought I would take the opportunity to record while she was practicing so that way I didn't have to worry about it on our 5 hour drive home. So hopefully the sound is okay. This week felt a little heavy for me, not in a big dramatic way, but in lots of small moments. Things, haven't really been going how I was expecting it this month. A lot of my clients are pausing, plans are shifting. I had to take my daughter to a dive meet on a Thursday, which I wasn't planning on doing. It's that quiet feeling of, am I doing something wrong? Should I be doing more? What am I missing? If you're anything like me, your instinct is to fix things, to push harder, to figure it all out, to control the outcome. But this week, it didn't feel quite right to me. So instead of pushing, I leaned into something I honestly have not leaned into this deeply before. And I never quite understood what people said when they said this, but I leaned into God. I started listening to Christian music during the day. I started reading the Bible before bed. And it wasn't about checking a box. It was about needing something, something bigger than my own ability to figure things out. I always have this feeling like I'm the fixer. I can do it. And I'm very self motivated. But this week, I couldn't do it on my own. And for the first time, I understood what people mean when they say they feel guided. They feel like God talked to them, He showed them the way. And it's not because everything suddenly makes sense to me, it's that I had this peace, even when it wasn't peaceful. But I had this feeling like I wasn't alone. And that's when I really realized what everyone means when they say, like, God spoke to them, or He told them what to do, or He showed them the way. I never really understood what that meant. And there was this one message that I kept hearing this week that really got to me over and over again. It was that Jesus has a plan for you. And even if you can't see it right now, it's still there. I realize how hard that is for us because we want to see the plan. We want to control it. We want to be a part of it. We want to be the ones that make the plans that plan out our whole lives and have everything ready to go. I mean, I do my calendars a month in advance and I know everything that's going to happen. So when things pop up, I'm okay with it. But we want the proof, we want the certainty, we want the control. But what if the whole point is learning to trust without it? And that's huge. I know that's really big. Trust me. I never really felt like I was religious growing up. Um, we grew up Catholic. My mom wanted us to go. I don't even remember us going to church. I just remember going to, we called it CCD or Sunday school. And I really loved Sunday school. But when we moved from Chicago to Texas, then sports were always on Sundays, and we didn't go to church. And also back then, it's very hard to find a Catholic church in Texas. Most of them were Baptist or Methodist, and we just didn't really look hard enough, I guess. And so from the point of 8th grade on, I never got confirmed. I was never really big into God. I mean, I prayed that and I believed in God, but I never really like knew what to do in church. And I felt out of place. People always say like bless you or God be with you and all these things. And I was just like, "Yeah, sure." But I'm starting to really feel like not like I'm suddenly religious, but I feel the need to reach out to God more and to have Him more in my life. And this has been true this past week. It's just really felt comforting to know that He's in my corner. And we went to church last week, and there was lots of messages that were spoken that stuck with us, and that's God loves everybody. And then I had this moment with my daughter this week. We were at our dive meet, and this kind of brought it all into real life. I selected her dives because the dives that she's been doing, some of them do not have really high DD or difficulty level scores, and so I she hasn't been able to qualify for nationals. So I purposefully changed her dives to one that has a higher DD and that she's done before in meets. And we get to her event in the morning of yesterday, and her coach told her she's not doing that dive, that she can't do it. And she asked him why, and he wouldn't give her an answer. And she was so upset. Now, we had a time in between when she was supposed to dive and practice. And so we drove back to the hotel, and I explained to her that, you know, she has this feelings just like me, right? She wanted to fix it. She was upset. She wanted an explanation. And I told her that Jesus has a bigger plan for her, that in this moment, it doesn't define what's coming next, that she has to believe, even when it doesn't make sense, and even when it's not what we want it to be. And as I was saying this to her, I realized that I need to believe this too. I need to stop trying to control things and just let go, let it happen because it's going to be right. Like Jesus will make things right. He has a big plan for all of us. And that's the biggest message that I've been learning this week is that He controls our future. And even though we feel like we control it or we have a huge part in controlling how our outcomes happen, really and truly, there's a hierarchy that's watching over us each and every day. And we need to lean into that and trust that. And that's very difficult. Trust me. It's so hard for me to do. But because this isn't just about one moment, it's about how we live. We hold on tight. We try to control. We try to make everything happen the way we think it should. And when it doesn't, we question everything. And it's like, you know, same thing. I've been questioning, like with her diving, like why can't she do higher DD dive? Why can't she? And she goes and she asks her coach, and he's like, "Trust me, I know what I'm doing." And it's so hard because we don't know anything about diving, but at the same time, it's like we're seeing all these other divers do bigger, better things, and we're worried, like, what is going on? But this weekend, oh my goodness, my daughter's dives were amazing. She got great scores. She looked amazing. Like she got 2 8s, which is incredible. 8s are very hard to come by, and this is a USA national meet. So this is supposed to be like the best of the best. And she got 2 8s. So these judges are not just handing out 8s just to anybody. So I'm like learning to just slow down and let things be. And same with our soccer lives, like I've been pushing, pushing, pushing. And when I was coaching them, I always wanted more. I wanted better. I wanted to control things. And really and truly, they're so young still. Like there's so much that they have in the world that God has plans for them that I'm trying to control at a very early age. And I need to stop and just let things happen. If their coach doesn't do something, who cares? They're so young. Like It just kind of put things into perspective. I was talking to other parents this weekend who have higher level divers, not quality, but I mean like older age divers. And they're, 16, 17, and they're getting phenomenal scholarships to schools like Dartmouth and Duke and Notre Dame, and they literally have only been diving for 3, 4 years. My daughter's been diving for 2 years, and she's only that well, she just turned 11. She's 11 years old. So if she continues on this path, like, she's going to be set. I don't have to worry about things. And that really put stuff into perspective this week. And then I came across this verse, John 15:2, the idea that God prunes what is not meant to grow so that is what is meant to grow can actually bear fruit. And that's really kind of like changed things for me, is that he doesn't just stop things just because he's mean and evil, because that's not who he is. But maybe it's just not the right thing because bigger and better things are to come. And because what if things slowing down is not necessarily something going wrong? What if it's something being cleared out to make space for something bigger? I know this is really deep, and I haven't gotten this deep before on my podcast because I just, I never really got this into the messages that were in the Bible or what God has provided to us. I just thought, you know, yeah, I'm religious, I go to church. And I don't really understand what the priest's saying or the father is saying most of the times. I just kind of go along with it. But I've been really trying to listen and find different ways to understand what it really is in the Bible because the Bible really sets the ways of life for everyone. Like business is in the Bible, being, good to each other is in the Bible, like how we're supposed to be human beings is in the Bible. Like everything's in the Bible. The messages are there. We just need to see them. And maybe reading it isn't what brings those messages to you. I know for me, like reading the Bible, I don't understand most of those words that are in there. Like I have no idea what they're saying. But then when I hear it on their radio and they're telling about the verses and what the messages mean, that's where I get what he's really trying to tell me. And even in our church, we go to this one church and it's just like kind of old school where the father gets up there and talks about I think it's the homily the message for the day. And I try to understand it, but it's so hard. So that we've been going to this other church and they sing all of the things that we don't usually sing in our church. And the father gets up there and he really gives meaning to the messages. And it's like, it's opened up my eyes to more. So if you're in a season right now where things feel like uncertain, plans are not going the way that you expected, where you're questioning what is next, I want you to hear this. Like, you're not behind, you're not doing it wrong. You might just be in a moment where you're being asked to trust instead of control, to trust God and what He has meant for you. And don't try to guess it either. Like, the beauty of it is that the plans that He has, they just kind of happen instead of us trying to control it and trying to think that we know what's going to happen in our lives, really and truly, it's taking a step backwards and just living your life to the fullest with what you have and trusting that the future is going to be bright and beautiful. And so this week taught me something that letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means trusting that you are not the only one writing your story. And if this spoke to you, send it to someone who needs this reminder. Make sure you also subscribe and you don't miss the next episode because you're not in this alone and you don't have to carry it all. And I encourage you, if you are not religious or you are religious, just start thinking about what the messages are saying to you and listen deeply. try to get more out of it than just doing the regular motions, like going to church and saying the verses and doing all these things. Actually think about every word and how it can affect your life and how it might be better in the long run. You know, for me, letting go, it's like I feel more relaxed this week than I have in a very long time because I'm not trying to do everything. I'm letting I'm giving myself grace. I'm letting things happen naturally, and it feels really, really good. And yes, I still brought my laptop with me to my daughter's day meet, and everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, like you have the perfect setup." And it's because I try to monopolize on the time because the times that I have with my children or with my family, like those matter to me. And yesterday I was able, my pharmacist license is expiring and I have to do my continuing education. And I was able to get like almost 10 hours of education done. I need 30, and during the time when she was warming up or during, I wasn't, obviously I was watching her during her meet and recording her. Well, I didn't have to worry about going back to the hotel and doing work. And so when we got back to the hotel, I was able to watch movies with her and play bocce ball and go celebrate and enjoy those times because I took the time during the time that didn't matter and I got my things done on my list. And when the times did matter, I was there and present. So start thinking about little things that you can do to make your life less stressful. Take things off your plate. Do them at times where it's not critical and that you're there and you're present for your children. I hope you learned a lot from this message and not just about trusting God, but really and truly just that everybody has a plan for their life already mapped out. Just go with the flow.